In the spring, 83 years ago, a horrific act rocked the town of Arlington. The lynching of a man named Jesse Lee Bond in broad daylight right here in the town square. For several generations, his family continues to tell what happened to him. And now they're partnering with the Mid-South organization to put up a historical marker at the site to memorialize Bond and bring awareness to the justice he never got.
That's my great-grandmother right there.
In Shelby County's oldest black cemetery.
1860, 1853.
Dates marking a storied past of suffering.
When I walk through the cemetery, tears come down my eyes because I can feel the pain that my family has gone through over the years.
Through the crumbled concrete, there's one spot bare.
I'll probably put the tombstone probably in here.
Another date, April 28th, 1939.
He was lynched at the Wilson Feed Store in Arlington.
Ronald Morris is the nephew of Jesse Lee Bond. His uncle is buried just a few miles from where the then 20-year-old's life tragically ended, here at the S.Y. Wilson store.
Uncle Jesse had to come to the feed store as many sheriff corporals of that time came and got goods, and then they put it on a ledger, and then when the crops came in, they came in and paid. But Jesse wanted a receipt, and they didn't like giving out receipts to people of color because they would gyp them and cheat them. So what happened was Jesse demanded a receipt. The young Wilson was there, and eventually he got a receipt.
But that would prove a deadly ask.
Old man Wilson got angry. He said, "Go and get that person and bring him back here to me." When he came back, they began to shoot him and reel him to the outhouse. They took him, drug him, castrated him, and staked him out in the Hatchet River.
I think it was somewhere in this area.
John Ashworth works with the Lynching Sites Project of Memphis, documenting the horrific acts throughout Shelby County.
And we now know about 35 lynchings that occurred.
Bond is one of them.
So there are people still around to this day that are, that was 1939.
But still, not a lot of people now know what happened in the building that was once on this slab, or the rage that rested on the river.
We know who did it. They knew who did it. The sheriff knew who did it. Everybody knew who did it. They covered it up, and they say it was an accidental drowning. How can you have an accidental drowning and you got bruises and bullet holes all through your body?
In fact, in a commercial appeal article from January of 1940, the headline reads, "Two men, Charles Wilson and William Johnson, exonerated of murder charges for killing Bond," even saying, quote, "No wounds or marks of violence were found on his body."
But this is an all-white jury in the early 1930s and early 40s. They weren't going to convict them.
While Jesse never got justice, there's some good coming out of sharing his story and others like him.
Is that we have created a space where people can have honest conversations about the past,
no matter how painful it can be.
It robbed me, my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, from enjoying one of our uncles. Then that leaves a scar in your heart.
Back in March, our country passed the first anti-lynching bill to make sure there are no more victims like Jesse Lee Bond. The group says they have been trying to get a marker at Bond's lynching site since 2017. Now, I did reach out to the town of Arlington, and they told me they hadn't received any formal application, but that's where the process would start for them for putting up a marker. The Lynching Sites Project also did a soil collection from the ground where Bond was killed. That soil will soon be on display at the Legacy Museum in Montgomery, Alabama, where there's a memorial dedicated to the more than 4,000 known lynching victims in our country.